I've got
everyone.
a thing for right-wing racist women. I think that's my kink.
Right, I'm going to start the pod there. That's where the podcast starts. Okay, that's interesting. Would you say she's right wing? Who are we talking about? If you're a patron, you would know who we're talking about, but we will not reveal that.
It isn't the start of the podcast.
It is. It is.
No, you cannot put out that's my kink.
She goes, I've got a kink for because you got the intro and then that comes in perfect. Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to James and Flav. For now, the penultimate podcast of the season. Sad times. But we have. But what a season it's been, first and foremost. We've got a few new sluggies in the chat, which is lovely. Luke Gray, first live Jaffin as a Moisty. Congratulations. Welcome. For those of you who would like to become a Moisty and would like to talk to us over the summer, you've got as long as you want, really. But we've got 2 podcasts left this week talking about our final day predictions. We're recording this before the Burnley game. What on earth is that sound? What on earth is that?
That's the sound of success.
That's the sound of success, guys.
That's coffee being made.
That's a highbrow. I saw a thing, and it was someone talking about what they were. You know when people say they're this and that, and then one guy was. It was this guy who was like, I'm a DJ and a barista. And I was like, you work in a coffee shop? Is that what you're saying?
You're a wanker,
which is fine,
no.
but don't go. I'm a DJ, but I'm also a barista. And again, Rob Turner's one of our most loved sluggies, and he's one of the best baristas in the north. But he owns it, and so he should be proud of that. But don't say I'm a DJ and a barista.
You're a barista who wants to be a DJ.
yeah.
DJs for free,
which again is fine.
I feel bad for saying that because you got to visualize what you want, and you claim to be what you want, and that's what you are.
Yeah, but again, you got. I think it's how you phrase it. It's how you phrase it. That's fair. Anyway, so yeah, all the fresh moisties, welcome.
James, what are you?
So for a very, very long time, I always went. I said I'm a producer, and then when I got the Premier League gig, I remember coming home on the trains, going to Fam, going, I can actually tell people I'm a presenter. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. So I think I would now say I'm a presenter. No, I don't know. Things do you say? Let me know, guys. That'll be a fun bit. We bit of a reset pod this week because of the Jimmy Savile stuff last week. Watch last week's podcast if you don't know what I'm talking about. But we'll dive into it a little bit more in a second. But yeah, so a bit of a reset pod before the final one. I think we'll do our final day predictions. As I say, we're recording this before the Burnley Villa game, so Leeds might be pretty much down.
Why is that? Why have you gone with that before the Burnley? Who cares about that?
Because
who gives a shit about that game?
Because of the relegation zone, Flav. The relegation zone. I know you don't trouble yourself.
No one cares.
What do you mean? They care about that more, mate. The fans of Everton, Leeds United, and Burnley care more about this than Arsenal and Spurs fans care about the Champions League.
I'm not talking about the Champions League.
If you were looking for the purity of caring. Like per man, Leeds, Burnley, and Everton fans care more than Arsenal and Spurs fans.
All right, let me
about
throw
their
something
objectives.
Let me throw something back at you, James.
Off you go.
All I'm talking about is the biggest story is the fact that Norwich get to host Tottenham, big club, come to get to see Harry Kane and Son play. That's the story of the weekend. Look, Tottenham's fan base combined is bigger than Everton, Leeds, and Burnley. So surely that's where we should start the conversation.
I'm very tired, so I can snap at any moment, right? But and I'm scared to even give up this information. But I have such a problem with the sort of things being bigger than other things. I think it's a deep-rooted issue that goes back very far. And it's got nothing to do with football. But this sort of like, yeah, the bigger thing. Oh, just drives me absolutely insane.
But that's because you're QPR and you're tiny.
Because I'm not big, yeah.
That's not your,
I'm inadequate. As a
what you
football
should
fan,
have done is just chose a big club to support.
Do you know? I
You've done a sensible thing.
Well, this might be harsh. I saw a comment on it was a Haaland video, and he said something like the guy went, "Oh, something like cry more." At the end of it,
Yeah.
and I felt like going when I wanted to reply and go, "When did you start supporting Man City?" That's what I wanted to say. When did you start supporting Man City? And because if you say anything like after what year can you like? Because for me, I unless you have a very clear tie, and actually we've got something in the running order about this, about what makes you a supporter. So sort of stick around for this, but maybe we should do this now. But if you're a Man City fan, but you started supporting after 2008, I can't remember when they came in.
I would say it doesn't count unless you were with Man City in League One. That's all. The only fans I care about at Man City.
Or your dad, or it's your dad or your mum or your family has supported that club. You can't go, I've been supporting Man City since 2014. You can't do that, can you?
No, there was a kid in Devizes where I live. The nearest club is Swindon, right, and Bristol Rovers, Bristol City, that kind of thing, right?
Who are doing very well at the moment in the playoffs.
Yep. He had a full Manchester United kit on, Man City kit on with Haaland on the back. I wanted to run him over, Jim.
I saw that on Instagram. Someone I used to work with. She was like, "Happy birthday to my son who's 10." They're from they're in London. They live in London or something. He's got I can see he's got a Man City away kit on. I'm thinking, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, fuck you. Do you know this thing about cry more as well? It's like this is a thing that's like it's quite an effective way to get under.
Is it a power move?
Skin. Yeah, because they don't. It's just. Yeah, it is. It's a really good comeback. It's like rattled. Do you remember rattled was a thing?
I mean, rattled's strong. That's still
strong, but because it's been said so many times, it's lost its impact now. And like you say, you're rattled. Oh, yeah, right, I am. But cry more is a good one. It's effective because you're not. You're saying I'm above what you're saying, and you're being a baby about it. But the thing is, but
whilst lacing it with emotion, not on yourself, but on the other person.
Yeah, why are you being emotional?
Yeah,
I'm not being emotional. I'm just having an opinion. Cry more, mate. The thing is, Jim, right? It happened to me about a month ago, and I said, what really pisses me off. There's a couple of things that piss me off. When someone says it's something, give me the ick. I saw
that.
Oh man. Who got the ick? The problem is they're not communicating. They're just trying to work a way to get the word ick into the sentence. So what they're actually saying is meaningless. They just want to say the word ick. So you're wasting my time. And also, it's just fucking idiot. They're just used by twats. Anyway, the other thing
I think I use it sometimes.
I'll
call it down.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Is it giving you It's giving you some sort of feeling? Is it?
Yeah, it's irritating me. You are irritating me. You're getting on my wick. Not giving you the ick. Right, Jim. The other thing. What's the other thing? So I said it's kids. Right. There's a generation of children who are saying, "I cannot be asked. I cannot be asked to do this."
Oh no.
It's fine if you make up new sayings for your generation. It's fine, deep down. Do what you want. But don't get my generation's sayings wrong. I cannot be asked. And I said it on fucking Twitter. And what was it? What was the comeback? Cry more, mate. Cry more. You're getting it wrong. I am crying. It's fucking irritating.
How are we supposed to achieve anything? We can't, can we? Because we can't talk about anything because it's all about the wind-up. It's so difficult. Fan was right when we started going out, and she sort of bit on something. I went, "What are you doing biting?" She's like, "Well, you're trying to wind me up." I was like, "Yeah, but if you bite, and then I've won." And she's like, "Well, so what are we supposed to do?" We just go around in circles. Anyway, it's been a good season, hasn't it? Do you know what I was thinking about? I was going to open the pod with this, and this might be a bit for next season. Do you ever, as someone who'd like been produced for a long time and generally just watch sports documentaries in my spare time, I often think when I think about the end of the season, I start to sort of put a soundtrack to it. And
what is it?
And it's the one that always springs to mind. And I don't think I had this last year, but this year, when I think of QPR, I think of, what's his name? Damien Rice. It goes, and so it is. Dun, 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 dun. That one. Do you know what I mean? Is it not Cannonball? Like, do you remember, some people know that album. I think it was Damien Rice. Most of the time. And so it is. Just sad. Just so sad. Anyway.
Big alcoholic, wasn't he?
Was he? Oh, is that why he didn't do more?
He's back, I think, but he was.
So I wonder what song people are thinking of when they think of their team and they think of their season as we come to the end of the season. Because I heard on the radio "Endless Love," and I was thinking that would be quite a good. You know, at the end of a World Cup, there's like a song at the end, and it's to the highlights package, and it's like da 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 da. It's always amazing. I love it. "Endless Love" would be a good one. Where it's like, I was thinking that for Rangers. Rangers lost the Europa League, of course. And I was wondering, like, "Endless Love"
that bloody
could be a good one.
All that bloody way.
Your every breath that I take.
Just reminds me of Happy Gilmore.
It does, yeah.
My love.
What a film.
Mate, like, Rangers fans must be fucking fuming. Look, gutted. Like, going all that way and then losing, I can tell you, is tragic. You might as well not have bothered.
So I did a video on this yesterday, and I know I keep talking about comments, but I'm just blown away by a lot of them. There was people started going, "Oh, where was all this sympathy for Chelsea? We've lost two penalty shootouts this year." I was like, in my head, I was thinking, I'm going to leave this.
Well, no, obviously.
The obvious difference is, one, they've not won
the Champions League twice.
They've won everything.
And the Europa League.
You have a weekly appointment at Wembley. And you won the Champions
9
League
years
last
ago,
year.
Rangers didn't exist.
Exactly. Rangers have gone all that way and can't believe that they've got to the Europa League final and have lost it because one person missed a kick and another person scored it. Like, that's cruel.
There were some penalties from Frankfurt, though, weren't they?
Yeah,
unreal.
Yeah,
it's massively tragic. Because for any team apart from Arsenal goes all the way to the final and loses, because you kind of look back and think, like, with Spurs, and look, obviously we had a big one with Champions League. I look at the Ajax game now and don't really remember it fondly at all. I'd look at the Ajax game and the Man City game and I was like, and all I think about is losing the final.
Oh, because because it was for nothing kind of thing.
It's all for nothing. Yeah, it was great memories or great going through it, but they're not great memories. That's what I should say. They're reminders of that we failed to win that trophy. No one remembers the run eventually when you don't win. No one remembers the fucking runners up. So for all intents and purposes, Rangers might as well not have been there for how they were. Pretty nihilistic and depressing. But
yeah.
They were.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would love that if Van Bronckhorst to come out and go, what was the point of that? What was the point of that? The boys are knackered. They're on their feet.
We should have
and for what? And for what? Nothing.
For what? Nothing. We won't be remembered.
Yeah.
You know, who was the runners up do you remember the season where Bayern Leverkusen finished runners up in the Champions League? You can't pinpoint the date. You don't remember. You don't remember.
It is. It's tough to stomach that stuff. It's tough to stomach that stuff, isn't it? Because that's what I was kind of talking about yesterday. And actually, in hindsight, someone made a great comment. And he's kind of going, Jim, I think I disagree with you on this one. Because I was kind of going down this road of it would have been great for Scottish football because that's not a major league, whereas the Bundesliga is a major league. And I think I probably hadn't done my due diligence on Eintracht Frankfurt and the fact that they're not a Bayern Munich or whatever. And the Bundesliga is that little bit different. But I was kind of focusing on the fact that the German league is one of the major leagues and Rangers wasn't. But it was like, as excruciating as it was to watch as a final, and there was a lack of quality, it's exactly what you kind of want from a final, where it wasn't like one team defending for their lives, because those aren't actually the games that we want when it comes to finals. I'd rather it was tense and lacked quality, because that was so much more enthralling than.
I think it was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like so the technical aspect to the Chelsea and Liverpool meant that it was quite a dull game. Or
more so the fact that say Rangers had played Barcelona in the final and were just sort of hanging in there. Like,
yeah.
And so Eintracht Frankfurt, I think, deserve a bit more credit than I gave them in the video. But the sort of focus.
But
for me
the
was
domestic
Rangers
form has been horrendous. So I really enjoyed the game because of it was a little bit more chaotic than, say, the final between Liverpool and Chelsea, because you don't get chaos typically with those teams because of the quality and the amount of money invested and the coaching set up and the drilling over years and years from world-class quality managers. You end up with two teams that are so technically good that can end up with quite a boring game of football, whereas this one was...
There were mistakes, yeah. It was like a war zone at the end of it. They were like dead on their feet, all getting crammed. And what I also love is...
I love that.
I think the Europa League's very underrated, because of like the stories that you kind of have with it, but also the sort of folklore of the players that will become the heroes. Like that Rangers squad, the players in that, it's not like, the Chelseas or Liverpools where, these players that played for Real Madrid and all these other like huge clubs. It's Jimmy Armfield. Do you know what I mean? It's like, Calvin Bassey, the centre-back, I think he's going to go on to do very big things because he's very impressive. But like Connor Goldson, he was at Brighton and then goes over to Rangers. Like the names in there, it's just like, I think it's quite romantic. It's a lot more romantic, actually, the Europa League. It's decent. That said, the Champions League is going to be very, very good next week. How are you feeling, Flav? How are you? Because we spoke about in the mailbag how you've had a very enjoyable week in terms of...
Yeah, I'm absolutely bricking it. Shitting myself.
When was the moment? When does it turn from, all right, let's bathe in this bottled water of Arsenal?
Well...
When did it move on to?
All Spurs fans, as soon as Newcastle scored that second goal, were then thinking about the Norwich game, obviously. But
we move forward, don't we?
You've got to allow yourself to enjoy these things when they happen, and so there was an element of that after the game, the next couple of days.
Because what you do know is that from the end of Monday night when Arsenal screwed up, you may have the whole summer and you'll enjoy all that, but what could very easily happen for you, and this is something you have to deal with that I don't have to as a QPR fan, is you've got till Sunday at 6:00, and you've got then to enjoy, gloat, bask in that glory, because you know full well, regardless of if you show class between now and Sunday, there is a tsunami of abuse coming your way if you bottle it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. Cheers, James. That was lovely.
No
It made me feel so much better.
Yeah.
Look, if we don't beat Norwich, or we at least don't get a point against Norwich, we don't deserve it, and we deserve all of the criticism that we're going to receive, and we just have to take it on the chin, as we have many times before. Because if you're big enough to give it, you got to take it, right? Sometimes you got to bend over, and
you've been very consistent with that. You said that last week as well.
Yes, it's important. So statistically, based on this, have you seen it? Like the percentage chances of qualifying for Champions League.
There's a website for that. Does someone know what that is?
It's like a grid. And it tells you exactly what it is.
I know. Tell me in the chat, guys, and I'll pop it in here. We'll have a little look at it.
At the moment, Spurs are 96%. Sure. This system has predicted that there's 96% chance that Spurs will finish in the Champions League places, which means 1 in 20 games, basically. 1 in 20 times if you played these two fixtures.
You are torturing yourself with this stuff.
If you played this fixture, the two fixtures 20 times, Arsenal will get in under once in 20, just under. So, it's a Norwich before this game. Norwich have been fucking shit this season. How many goals they conceded? 79?
79 goals conceded. A minus goal difference of 56. They've only scored 23. That's the worst by 9 goals. And next worst is Burnley, who we know have struggled to score goals this year. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So if we don't beat this Norwich team, we've absolutely nothing to play for.
Is this a new high or low in terms of Spursification if you bottle this one?
This will be about as low as it's ever been, I think.
Is this my title? Will this be the greatest bottle of all time? If you can't beat Norwich, who've won 5 games all season. Discuss.
Yeah. So, I mean...
What are the other nominees?
Well, the only one I can relate to, and this is what's playing over my head, is we're in the exact same situation before where we needed to beat Arsenal's result to finish in the Champions League ahead of them. And we went to a relegated Newcastle side and got beat 5-1 with Pochettino. So it's already happened once.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably the second one.
I wonder if I know this. Would you know what the name of it is? Because I think it's posted really on percentage chance Premier League. I feel it's called like 538 or something. I've only bloody done it. 538. Here we go. Right, get in there. So.
Oh, yeah, we go.
End of season probability relegated, qualify for champion. 96%, as you say. 96% chance. Surely you're not going to fuck this one up. Surely not.
Of course we can.
Oh no, I can see it. I can already see it.
What does off and def mean? Offensive and defensive. So that's
team rating. Your team rating. I don't truly know, if I'm honest. I guess it's how good you are offensively and defensively.
Does that mean we're averaging 2.4 goals a game? So we're averaging 2.54 goals. Is that right? Yeah, that is right. Fucking, that's pretty good. No, it can't be right because Arsenal conceded more than who? Let me go.
Man City are averaging 3 goals a game. That can't be right. Let's not.
Hang on. Well, they've scored 96 goals and they've played 37, so that's not. I don't know. We're not.
Don't worry about it.
Doesn't matter.
The important thing is the percentages are here. So moving on to Man City and Liverpool, 82% to 18% with that one. So it is possible for Liverpool. A draw is not enough, is it? A draw is not enough for Liverpool. And I think that Guardiola with the West Ham game, that's what he was absolutely buzzing with. It's the fact that that's not, the fact that he doesn't have to go to that.
City play?
City have got Aston Villa. So this is interesting as well. And Catherine, I think, provided this with some of the spicy titles that we can dive into in just a second. So actually, final thing, with Spurs and Arsenal, what is your prediction for their game? What will happen? How will it transpire?
I think they'll end up drawing.
Is it
goal difference?
Oh, okay. So if you draw, you go for a goal difference. Do you have to lose?
Arsenal need to win by 16 goals. If we lose and Arsenal win, they get it.
Yeah. But if you draw, you're there.
They've got to win and they've got to hope that we lose. That's it.
Okay.
And do you know what? Having watched Arsenal against Newcastle, and I think we mentioned it a bit before, and I'm not going to just dig into Arsenal again because it gets boring for people to listen to because it's an obvious thing to do. They were shit. No. Their legs gone. They look like they're exhausted against Newcastle. I don't know if that's management. It just is the squad is threadbare because of the injuries and
it felt mental there, didn't it? I think. Thing is though, if you take out huge players out of your squad, then that makes your life difficult. We when we're talking about football, we try and go down different roads because the most obvious road with all of this is injuries. Like, look at Leeds. I can say what you want about, they've been found out, blah blah blah. They've been decimated, absolutely decimated. You've got to be lucky. Yeah. Like Everton, if Everton have Dominic Calvert-Lewin for the whole of the season, I think they're in a much better space. They're in a much better space. It makes such a difference. Whereas Brentford actually, a lot of the teams have lost some players at different times, but.
This is the first season where we've had Kane with us without injury. I mean, the first.
You're nowhere near this if you've not, like we spoke about this in the mailbag, didn't we? You say Tierney and Partey being out is such a huge one. Kane and Son is not the equivalent, but if you take out Bentancur and Kulusevski,
you're in
trouble. That is a similar thing, and you're nowhere near the Champions League.
We were in trouble. In January, at the end of January when they came in, we were nowhere near the Champions League places. You buy players, and you have players in your squad because you expect them to play. You lose Partey, and Ben White and Gabriel weren't fit either. Yeah, they just didn't look fit. Ben White had a good game, dodgy like spray tan though. And what? I didn't even know it was him for a second. I was like, who's that?
Do you think he's walking in the changing room and gone, guys, have I gone a bit? Have I gone too far? You've gone like a
two on the front,
2 shades,
one on the back.
yeah. It's like Friends, isn't it? You've gone just like maybe just pull it back a shade. Just pull it back one shade.
Ben, firstly, you're going on holiday in like a week. I can't just wait. You look weird.
Yeah, and he's got sort of like white circles in his eyes, so I can see you've put the little mask on or whatever it is.
He's looked in the mirror and going, I might get a spray tan, babe.
Yeah,
I get a spray tan.
Definitely.
For the big game against Newcastle.
I would say, yeah. I reckon he's got the smooth...
You know how white people are in Newcastle? How weird it's going to be you walking around them?
Yeah, especially when your name's Ben White.
They're the whitest people in England. They're literally the furthest north. You only get to Scotland when they start becoming translucent.
I went up to the northeast on Monday.
Scotland.
And I can't tell you how cold it was. I was like, what is going on? It's just like, it was mad. I just got up there and it was freezing. It was so cold. I've had a bit of a week actually, Flav.
Wait, I didn't know you went to the north. What was that for? Football, was it?
So I interviewed Alex Neil, so what really happened in Sunderland's Stadium of Light? So I went to the Academy of Light, which was very, very impressive. That said, I was like, oh, the place is huge, but there's loads of rooms that just aren't used anymore. So it was just sort of like, yeah, they need to get themselves back in the Prem so they can fill these rooms with things. But yeah, I got warned, Alex Neil's, he's tough, he's hard work. And when he came in, he went, all right. Because when you come in, so when you interview someone, they come in, you go, right, can we warm them up? How can we warm them up? How can we get the juices flowing here,
quick
guys?
blowy. Oh.
Yeah. And I'll go, yeah, and I'll literally, when they come in, I'll be on my knees, just so there's no small talk. We get straight into it, because often the guys want to film quickly.
Just slide straight in. Go on, mate.
So I was on my knees, ready to go, and he came up, and he went to shake my hand. He went, right. Sat down. I thought, uh-oh. But
it's my age.
Do you know what my trick was?
What?
My trick was, and this is my trick with managers in particular, right? Search their playing career, right? Find out a little bit about their playing career, and then go, I was having a look at your play. You scored a couple of goals in this season. What happened there? And they talk about themselves as a player, and then that seems to warm them up a little.
What goal did you say then?
Well, he hadn't scored that many goals, so I was like, "What kind of player were you?" And he sort of spoke about it for a second, and he was a little bit better. But then the interview was good. The interview was good. I was really, really chuffed actually, because the producer as well, he was really good. But he came in, and he went, "Tough one for you here, mate." Literally first thing he said, I was like, "Right, yeah, okay." And, I've had 2 hours sleep in the last 2 days. Don't come with me with that. I just need that little bit. We haven't met, have we? Clearly, I need positive reinforcement at every turn. Hang on, let me. I'm going to call Flav. He'll explain what you need to do with me. Anyway, but we got through that. So that was good. And then the next thing happened. I played at Tottenham's Stadium, Flav.
I know.
It was good,
But you invited me, and Smith reached out to invite me as well, but
more of a gaffer these days, aren't you?
I just
don't want to play anymore. You just don't want to play, do you?
Did not want to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but James, tell me about the stadium. What's it like on the outside?
So, first time I've been to the stadium. What do you think? Fantastic staff, I must say.
Beautiful. Now, what about the stadium?
The stadium's unbelievable. This made me laugh, right? So we played the game. Started off as centre midfield. It was 2 halves of 30 minutes.
You was worried about your fitness.
I was very worried about my fitness. Started in centre midfield, and after about 4 minutes, because also when you've not played football much, when you then start to try and like kick a ball, it's like your legs aren't your own. Do you know what I mean? You're kind of like, oh yeah, this is how you do it, isn't it? You kick a ball like this. Anyway, we started the game, and after 3 minutes, I sort of made a little, very slow burst into the box as it went out wide. The cross came in, and I completely shat the bed. That was my moment. What? And the centre back said, "You'll never get that chance again." I was like, "Cheers, mate." I was like, if it was Loftus Road, I think I would have been devastated, because it was White Hart Lane.
What happened?
Or London.
You just missed the ball.
You know when you're running, I'm thinking, right, I'm starting to run out of steam here, but it's coming. I think the ball's going to come to me. Oh my God, the ball is coming to me. And the pitch is so big. It's so long. Less so width, but so long.
Yeah.
That I'm getting there, and then I'm thinking, just get your foot on the ball. Bit like Ryan Kent yesterday. I remember I was thinking to him, I was like, he's done the same thing, which is like, just get there. And I got there and skied it, which was heartbreaking. But that said, we started to play, started to get the ball down. The tempo was incredibly slow, which was an absolute relief, just because the pitch was just so big. Anyway, long story short, I came off after 15 minutes. We were 1-0 up. I went back on in the second half. All of a sudden, we're 4-1 down. 4-2 down. And we won 5-4. Leave it there. I'll leave it there. You fill in the blanks. We did win 5-4. Anyway, it was good.
Ben Haynes, he looks like he can play. Can he play?
Great player, great posture as well. Now he played centre-back, and he's like same height as me, if not shorter. But so what happened, the change was I came on and played right back, and basically we had like 3 like decent ones, and then I sort of got on the ball from there because there was just like so much space. And we had Smithy as well, Smithy plays so many charity games, and in every single one of them he scores a lob from outside the box. I think he's thought about, because he's played so many of these games, because often like you'll think, oh, what would I do if I was able to play these kind of games, or you see Soccer Aid or stuff like that. Because he's played so many, he's aware that the goalkeepers aren't great. So he just lobs them. It's genius. It's genius.
He also played a lot of football in his life.
He's a good footballer. He's a very good footballer. And in particular with like free kicks and technique and stuff like that. He's one of those. He's a goal scorer. He's the Matt Phillips of the showbiz world, I'd say. Anyway, the thing that made me laugh though, so £1 billion stadium. Place is unbelievable. But because everyone's like so Sunday League, we've won the game, come off the pitch, and everyone's sort of getting changed. Everyone's going to have a shower. And what was it? I was in the shower. I was about to come out. Someone comes in and goes, "Is it warm, lads?" And I was thinking, what? This is £1 billion stadium. You're going, because you're so used to being in like, is it warm? Like there's sort of real fit. Like, is it warm? Yeah, it's warm. Like they've it's like £1 billion stadium. You think they've got like these Sunday League like freezing cold like, showers? No, it's like unbelievable.
You wasn't looking at your digit thinking it should be warm.
It must be cold. Water must be freezing, right? I'm guessing the water's cold. James, I'm guessing the water's cold, pointing at me. No. Yeah. Okay, so guys, James, I'm guessing the water's cold.
He's literally standing there and he's pointing at your willy, going, James, look.
Oh, is it cold, is it? Oh, it's cold, is it?
You're standing there, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Anyway, it was a lovely day, and it was good fun. But yeah, the pitch was huge.
Did they put a nice spread on?
Really good food. Really impressed with the food, actually. It was amazing.
What was he in aid of then?
It was a Nike thing. Mickey Hazard was there, and David Howells was there as well, which was
Mickey
good.
Hazard, what a man.
What a man he was. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it was good. But those, I think you just don't realise how big those pitches are and how like the fitness these guys have got to have. It's absolutely outrageous. Man City, Liverpool. Do you think there'll be anything crazy happen there?
No.
Do you think it'll be a real damp squib?
It will just be Manchester City beating Villa 5-0 or something.
How do you think Gerrard feels? Because Gerrard could win the league for Liverpool, but just really not how he wanted to do it.
I mean, he would do everything. It would mean so much to him to try and stop from for all intents from beyond his playing day grave to come back and win Liverpool the league in this way. That would be a story, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but do you know what? I think someone like him, because this is one of our spicy titles. We put this out on Twitter. Catherine, great work once more. Obviously coming from the Aston Villa angle, but still, it's a really well-worded title there. Not many words, and I might even use that. Gerrard to win Liverpool the title. I think, though, deep down, part of Gerrard would be like, I don't want to be reminded of this Like, I don't want this to be like I don't want this to be a final chapter. Yeah, he did slip over and never won the title, and yeah, he does regret that. But he did win the league for Liverpool by getting a draw for Aston Villa. I just don't think he wants to. He wants it to be that way.
He wouldn't want to. I'm not sure he didn't want to be that way.
So deep down, I think he wants to lose. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can't see anything other than Manchester. If Aston Villa play the way they have been, which is, exciting, and Catherine will be able to tell me differently if it's changed. But against Spurs, they came for our throats. Mm. They played really well, and they unjustly were behind. And they were super physical. But I think if you're playing that way against Man City, you're in trouble. Mm. So I don't know if they've changed that style at all, Catherine. But if they haven't,
I agree. I feel like Villa, in terms of personnel, you go, oh, this is actually a tricky one for Man City. But actually, I think they'll I don't think they'll really have the stomach for the fight, if I'm honest. And I also think defensively, I don't know how they would be able to sort of shut up shop a little bit and kind of keep them out. That's the biggest thing for me. When Man City will be on it as much as they will be. Do you think you play Grealish in this game? You could win the league.
You can fucking play the reserve team and win. It doesn't matter.
You think it's
second league? Yeah, it's not. Ollie Satch.
Big sake.
Sack. He says, have you heard Villa will get more money from City if they win the league for Grealish? I think he's a big Liverpool fan, isn't he? He's talking about conspiracies again. He's talking about conspiracies again.
That's the thing.
I'm not gaslighting here, but it sounds like you're saying, is there a conspiracy here?
Are you saying there's an agenda against Liverpool?
Is that what you're saying, Ollie? I think it might not be. That might not be what we're getting at. But
that would make sense. To be fair,
of course, you think there isn't a bonus attached to him winning the league with City?
It's at Man City, of course, as well, which does make it harder for Aston Villa.
There wasn't a pre-planned, do us a favour at the end of the season and we give you this bonus. That bonus always existed, didn't it?
Yeah. The Liverpool squad should have known that going into the season.
I would say it is a fact, Ollie, but I wouldn't say that there's conspiracy. And I'm not saying you're saying there's conspiracy. It's just that any time a Liverpool fan says something like this, it sounds like that's exactly what you're saying there is.
What I'd love to, if the owners kind of need to have, someone's got to have that conversation with Gerrard, who is probably more of a winner. Do you know what I mean? In terms of mindset than anyone. How do you broach that? How do you put that to him? And also not incriminate yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't want this guy coming down the line. So you've got to get your wording right of going, all right, Steve, quick word about a game. Excited for the season to end? Yeah, transfers. Ooh, got Coutinho already. We could bring in some other big names as well, quite possibly. Have you seen James's one transfer for every team? No, it hasn't come out yet. Yeah, it'll come out next week, apparently. So make sure you watch that, because then you can get the transfer that you want for Aston Villa. We still, of course, got one game left. And Gerrard's like, yeah. I mean, it would be it would be to do that. And, look, deep down, I want Villa, obviously, to always do well, but it's got that little bit of added spice, because if I can win the league for Liverpool, it'd be really, really special. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But did you know? Do
you like players like Coutinho, do you, Stevie? You like having players like that, do you?
Yeah. Would you like to challenge?
You want John McGinn to stay, do you? Mm. Would you like to have a better squad next season?
Yeah, that's interesting. He just goes, money. Money makes the world go round, isn't it? City have got a lot, haven't they? Oof.
Oh,
they've got too much, isn't it? I wish we had more money.
Do you remember they bought Jack Grealish? Remember that? They bought him from us, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We got 100 million for that. So I mean, that's enough, isn't it? You don't need any more.
Get all of that.
Yes, it is a lot.
Though, is it? It's not all up front though, Jared, is it?
It's a lot. But I wouldn't really say Bundy's worked out, and Danny Ings probably hasn't scored as many as we'd like. And we would more money. Would you think, Steve? Just quick one. Do you think more money is good to have or less money?
I think you're going to say more money, Steve, aren't you?
Probably more money, actually. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Look. Oh, is that Grealish's contract? I'm just gonna.
Can you
have seen this? Oh, sorry. Oh, God, I've just highlighted a sentence here. What on earth have I highlighted there, Stephen? Oh, shit, you can't read. Fuck. I'm sure he can. Anyway, it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. So, does that mean Liverpool are safeguarded because the conspiracy/agenda is there in place? So, if they do win, Gerrard's a hero. If they lose, then... It's because of the conspiracy against
the money.
Yeah.
Can I ask Ollie, if we're talking about conspiracies, like what are Liverpool fans saying about Asthmagate?
That is rife, isn't it? Asthmagate. It does seem to be there. Because it's the same thing that Chris. Is it fact? Is that known? Is it a known thing?
It must be, because it's been published. So if it's been published and it wasn't true, action can be taken. So,
right.
Ollie says we are silent.
I'd love to know, how do you bat off the asthma thing, guys? Let us know in the comments.
Look, they're not doing anything illegal. It's just not banned yet in football.
Yes. Whereas I was reading about this actually, because
but in cycling, banned.
Chris Froome didn't he get banned for this?
I think what's his name? This famous one. I look like him.
Oh, Bradley Wiggins.
Yeah, Bradley Wiggins got banned.
Jeremy Corbyn cycled.
Yeah. So basically, if Liverpool are doing it and other teams are not doing it, are they that good? That is not me saying it. I'm just asking the question.
Why aren't all teams doing this? So basically, if you sort of declare that you've got asthma, you then can have certain medication. That certain medication allows your stamina to go through the roof. That's the sort of feeling around it. Generally, I think about 5% of people have asthma. From what I have read,
12.
Apparently 65% of the Liverpool squad have asthma. I'm sure that's wrong, and I'm sure I will be corrected. And feel free to do so.
It's above average. It's well above average.
Seems a bit above the average.
But I wonder if they get the balance down, because they can't all have asthma. That's ridiculous. Only the good ones have got asthma. Nat Phillips, he ain't got asthma. Yeah. Morton, he hasn't got asthma.
I would.
Minamito, does he have asthma? Let's do this, Jim. What players in the Liverpool squad are good enough to have asthma?
So
Minamito?
Yeah, who's good enough? No, you haven't got asthma. Oh, haven't I?
No,
I haven't got asthma.
No.
Okay, maybe next year. Harvey Elliott's right on the line. Harvey Elliott's right on the line. Next year, you definitely have. Hey, and he's walking off. He's upset. Oh, I wanted to have asthma as well. Well, next year you're definitely going to have asthma.
James, the only way Liverpool can prove it is if Karius has that pump, because there is no value to Liverpool saying that he's got asthma when he doesn't.
That's a smart thing to do, isn't it? You give it to some of the lesser players.
They're waiting for that, weren't they? They were waiting for that. They're going to give some of the shit players. Let's make sure there's balance here. We can't get caught. This is foolproof.
Stoker Pop says that they'd bat off the asthma thing by saying, if anything, it's an even bigger achievement that they've done so well. We are so unlucky that the majority of the squad has asthma. We are the victims here. Do you know what, though? If I was...
lung capacity.
If it's within... Would you take, if you were a player, would you take that if it's within the laws?
100%.
Exactly. So would I. I'd be like, I'm actually really annoyed that QPR aren't doing this.
Yeah, we should be doing it.
Would you like bigger lungs? Yes. Well,
there shouldn't be any performance in. They shouldn't stop any performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah, only in you've been very consistent on this.
Yeah, only in combat sports they should, obviously, because it's dangerous.
But you want the chaos, don't you?
I want the madness. I want to see a player sprint the entire length of the pitch in 5 seconds. I want to see shit that normal human beings can't do.
Yeah, you want it to turn into a video game. Right.
Imagine how high they could jump. A cross comes in, it's 13 feet in the air. Gosh.
It would go back, yeah. Long ball returns, and it's just outrageous because you've got a goalkeeper with a thigh the size of a tree trunk. Smashing it high
just outside your own box.
Yeah, the ball comes down rock hard because there's so much snow on it. And then this gargantuan, it's like something out of, I don't know what. Right, let's read out some comics. I haven't done that. The Jim Big Laugh Award. Only one thing really made me laugh this week. Adam Sullivan. I had an image of James holding up the whiteboard with those names on as the midwife entered the room. Imagine the horror when she's thinking he's brainstorming for baby names for the second baby. Last week I was saying that this podcast might get cut short because of the midwife coming over. She came over a little bit later, so we were able to get through the pod, which was fantastic. And then, of course, we had our problems with the board where I wrote the names Jimmy Savile and Adolf Hitler. which has become my own little meme, which I'm actually kind of enjoying it, if I'm honest. But that would have been funny if she popped in again. Oh, I'm here, guys. Oh, like Jimmy Savile and Hitler. What do you do again for a living? Just talk about football, innit? Comments of the week. Ben Dukesy, of course, very famous slug. The black belt slug. Unwritten rule. 268 likes on this. If you're in an away end and your team's losing heavily, you must fold your arms while still standing.
That's so true. You saw it at Arsenal. You saw it at Arsenal. The ones that remained, just like that, and then staring blankly, like they've just gone through 4 years in Vietnam.
What?
1,000-yard stare.
A great country. What I would add to that is I think you've also got to curl up. Your top lip has to be thin. Got a bit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Co's crying.
Oh.
Ow. Hurts. Let me just shut the door. Oh, this is brutal.
I mean, to be fair, that's the way how babies communicate, isn't it? Like when you're having a hissy fit, James, it's just communication. James, all it is him communicating. I need tits.
Honestly, heartbreaking. Yeah, didn't work for me in my 20s. In nightclubs, just going,
I need tits.
So like, yeah. Some of the older women, some of the cougars in the club going, "Oh, come here, then, come on." I watched a documentary on that on couples where the man breastfeeds. Horrific.
What do you mean?
The man breastfeeds on his partner.
It's like a kink.
It's not, but it's like there's nothing sexual about it. Yeah, right.
What?
Yeah,
what? Why are you doing it then?
It's soothing. And there's a close up of him doing that, which obviously I can't get out of my mind for the rest of my life. And then it pans to the wide, and he's just lying there with a hard on. I'm like, are you sure it's not? Are you sure? Are you sure? Anyway,
where does that come from? Look, there's nothing wrong with that. If no one's getting harmed, mate, no one is getting harmed in that, Jim. If they want to do it, they're both happy. Then absolutely crack on. How do you get to that position?
What's the if that's your mantra in life? I've got a friend who's done some bizarre things, and I talked to him. I go, "Why do you do these things?" And we wrote it down in a list once, and he'd done 50 things, and 17 were unforgivable. But he said, that he went, "No one, I never hurt anyone. No one ever gets hurt when I do stuff." I'm like, that's probably true. So
I'd love to see that list. Is that list still a thing?
That's probably something.
You know, I do the podcast. The other podcast, and this is exactly the stuff we talk about.
What's tough to take, I guess, is when they become a father of 3.
Because they know you know.
Just like the things you know.
So I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And he I remember him telling me a story about rubber gloves and his missus. That was a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, it never hurts anyone. But yeah, one for the comments. What's the weirdest thing that you could just about get away with by saying, well, no one's been harmed? I'd love to know what people think of. What's the thing that you think of? Let's know, and we'll have a laugh about it next week. So yeah, that is a good one. But yeah, arms folded, like top lip sort of hard in. And if it's got so bad,
I really like these
arms
ones.
Out going.
I like these ones when they catch them like that.
Great fun now. The lots of crying kids last night after the Europa League final. Did you see that?
Oh yeah. That was good. That was good. Man, I mean, what their dad has pulled it out of the bag. Getting the kids into Europa League final is unreal.
Done very well. I wonder if it's one of those where you know, if your kid's young enough, you could probably just sneak him in. Sure. I don't know.
I would have been one of those crying kids once. Wembley '93 against Arsenal.
Oh yeah,
I cried then.
'93. Oh, semi-final. Yeah,
semi-final.
Jersey. I like the start of this comment. And I wonder if there's something in this. He said, "I bet you 100 slug points." Just like the idea of slug points.
Yeah.
Not sure how he'd work that up and how you would accrue said slug points, but I just thought it was interesting. So Jersey says, "I bet you 100 slug points that since moving to the countryside, Flav has considered buying a telescope and perhaps a pig. That's just the sort of guy he is." Is that something that you've...
Definitely small holdings like goats and things like that for sure. Telescope, no, but mate, Jim, I can't tell you. When you come down and see us, hopefully it's in the summer and it's going to be a clear night. You will be amazed at the amount of stars you can see. You can barely see space for the amount of stars there are in the sky. Every single inch of it is covered by these little dots. So when you come down, I'll show you that.
That's one of the main reasons to go travelling, by the way, guys. Go travelling.
Oh, you've seen it.
Because you'll go to places like that, where it's not like, it's like cars and stuff, and then you have the amazing things like that, and it makes you think about the world. Sorry, what were you going to say? Sorry. Have you bought a pig? Have you considered buying a pig?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have.
Would you? Bit of a wettish for you, isn't it? Oh yeah, micro pig, good.
Pig, goats.
He finishes off the comment saying the Jimmy Savile of the shark world. Gosh,
that's ridiculous. There's nothing sexual about it.
Okay. There's something that was a couple of weeks ago.
Erection.
Pounds out to the wide, massive erection. That's a new thing, isn't it? That's a new thing, isn't it? Pounds out.
That's nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Do you know what's code for? There's something a bit sexual in this, but no one's ever going to admit it. Is cut to the wide. I think that's a new code. Cut to the wide.
There's on TikTok that's been clipped up quite a lot. Clips of a documentary about dogging. One of the best documentaries I've ever seen. It's got to be about 8 or 9 years old now. It's fucking fantastic. An excellent documentary. I don't want to add more to it. Just go and find it and watch it. It's fantastic.
Do you know what it's called?
Dogging.
I was just searching. Were you just searching dogging, were you? And that came out with it.
Channel 4 doc.
Just search dogging, watch them all, you're fun. Channel 4. It's normally Channel 4 are the best ones.
The idea of having sex in the woods is so bizarre to me. I don't get it. Outdoor sex, really, at all. Dogging Tales, it's called. You can watch it on Catch-Up TV. And as a piece of work, purely as a documentary and storytelling, it's fantastic.
Ollie Sach in the chat says, my friend said he had no clue how grown men cry at football, and it's stupid because it means nothing. He said, it's safe to say I ended that friendship. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, what I will say is, I get it.
What, dogging?
I get, well, I mean, do what you got to do, as long as you're not hurting anyone. As long as you're not hurting anyone. Cut to the wide. But like Rangers yesterday, they were showing all the fans, and they're crying. It is a little bit funny to watch. But I also respect them. I'm okay with them crying. It's fine. There's nothing. It does matter. It does matter. Of course, I think I'm more likely to cry winning than losing. If I'm honest.
Yeah. I mean, don't say that. I wouldn't have put myself in that camp at all. But like I said before, the Spurs versus Real Madrid, when we scored our third goal, I was just overcome with emotion. Just 2 tears just rolled down my face as I turned around and just grabbed hold of my dad.
That's it. I think when it was the final of the Euros, we were just before Rashford's penalty, and people don't discuss this enough. We were 2 kicks away, or we were 2 kicks away from winning the Euros, and it dawned on me that because they missed first, and I was like, oh, and I started to get emotional, as in like it's almost hyperventilate because like, oh my God. We're going to win a major tournament in my lifetime, and I'm here behind the goal with my dad. I was like, and I started to gut, and then Rashford missed, obviously, and then it all went to shit. But when we then lost, I didn't really need to. I wasn't in tears after that.
James, can I ask you a question? Now all the dust has settled.
Yeah,
did Saka let his country down?
Did bottle it, didn't he?
Did he bottle it? Did he let his country down? The answer's yes.
I think Southgate got that horribly wrong. I've got a real problem.
12 yards out from goal.
Yeah,
18.
There were enough good players on the pitch. I think if you're going to bring on someone to take a penalty, I think you need to bring them on at the start of extra time, so that it's kind of that the reason why they're on is not because of the penalty. I just think that is a horrible psychological pressure that gets added on.
So what you're saying is he
can't come on 3 minutes before the end of a game to take a penalty. I just don't think it's. I don't think it's fair.
Okay, fair enough, Jim. So what you're saying is it's Southgate's fault that Saka let his country down.
Yeah,
but fundamentally, Saka did let his country down
by proxy. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Good.
But the burden of blame is not on him. It's on Southgate, in my opinion.
Southgate didn't take the penalty, so it's got to be on him a little bit. It was his foot that kicked the ball, so he's going to take part of the responsibility, isn't it?
70-30.
Should we
agree
settle
on that? Settle on that.
All right, fine.
Okay, good. So this was a few weeks ago. When are you a supporter? We've never got to it over the last couple of weeks because we've been chatting away, but I thought we should get to it. So Daniel Gardner, this is a few weeks ago. Unwritten rule. I'd say that you're a supporter. So the day you're a supporter is when a result can affect your mood.
Yeah, that's good.
Got a few comments here, so maybe you come in after these few. TC on Brentford. I think you have to have gone to at least 50 games of said team to call yourself a supporter. Also, the gap between games must be no longer than 2 months whilst the season is going. I mean, 50 games within that is tough. Anyway, Dilraj Chauhan. I, as a Canadian, fell in love with European football. Less with a team and more with a player. Well, this was interesting.
Paul Stalteri.
It must have been Mark Bircham, was it?
It better not be Alphonso Davies. Too obvious.
Watching Steven Gerrard in 2005 make that Champions League run as my first ever experience watching football, and Stevie G completely made me fall in love with the sport. And Liverpool. He was outrageous.
That's coming, isn't it? He's now a Liverpool fan,
well,
isn't he?
let's hear him out.
Okay, all right.
I followed Liverpool.
I know where this is going, James.
No, but wait, I thought this was interesting. I followed Liverpool from that moment on. Enjoyed waking up early in the mornings to catch the games. That is one thing that fans from abroad have to do that I don't think, as a lot of English fans, wouldn't do all that stuff.
Fuck no, I'd record it and watch it in the morning.
The fact that they get up at 4 is absolutely phenomenal, I think.
It's mad.
So here we are. Enjoyed waking up early mornings to catch the games, but I don't think I earned my place as a supporter of the club till I experienced the heartbreak of the Stevie G slip against Chelsea in 2014. That was the moment where I genuinely felt as if the world was going to end, and I was so devastated. Since then, I've started supporting Man City, and it's been a lot more fun. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. Since then...
You got me then. My eyes went wide.
Amazing. Since then, I make it a point to watch a Liverpool match at Anfield every time I travel to the UK and truly consider myself a supporter of the club.
Yeah, mate, of course. I think if you have a bad result and if it's the first thing you think about when you wake up, then you're a fan.
Yeah. And final one, George Eport. Just curious, I'm a Canadian who supports Manchester City. I followed them since 2010.
Oh, fuck it. Don't read it.
Hang on. My first World Cup. Mainly because they had Shay Given on the team and because I was told they were good, but not the best. Brackets hadn't won a Prem yet. That's the clever thing that new football fans do. That's why Spurs have got loads of fans, because you want to kind of be there, get a few humiliation points in, then win the Premier League. Yeah, I fully followed them from the 2010-11 season and onward. And to be fair, I had no idea. I had no idea how ownership even mattered in football. I was 11 at the time. Do I meet Flav's litmus test of being a supporter?
No. When you grew up to a point where you were an adult and realised your mistake, you should change. Fuck, I made a mistake. I didn't realise. I now see the error of my ways. I'm now following Aston Villa.
So where could he go now?
Nowhere.
Right.
Unfortunate for you.
Yeah, tough.
And the thing is you're not... It's not your fault, because an 11-year-old kid in this country wouldn't know what was what. So certainly one in another country where, like you say, you don't understand the importance of ownership in the club. When you're 11, I understand it. It's not your fault that you're a Man City fan. But unfortunately, what's happened, you can't really, after 10 years, change your club. But you're never going to get any respect. You're never going to... And fundamentally, every victory you feel isn't going to be anywhere near as good as what Leicester felt or what Spurs will feel one day if we ever win anything. And all of that is unfortunate, because you're going to miss out on that explosion of... You've won everything in your first 10 years of supporting the club, apart from Champions League. You've done it all. You've completed football before you've even really started. And that isn't a good place to be, I don't think.
Yeah. It's tough, isn't it? So Ollie says, no, that's unfair. He's a supporter, but that doesn't mean we have to respect his choice.
I don't respect his choice.
What I would say is anyone watching this who's kind of like getting into football, and obviously, you know, part of being in football is caring about the games. And caring about the games, you kind of need to pick a side, I think, at times.
Yeah.
So you need to... I think it's really difficult. I think it's so much easier for us being, you know, from the country of that team and having very clear lineage to those clubs as well. So it's finding it really difficult. I really struggle with American sports. I just can't really have a team because I can't have it. What I would say is if you are looking, you just got to be wary of how you position yourself. It's very difficult.
It's like me starting to support I don't even know.
Leicester City's a good one, I think. Like I said, you asked me this on the mailbag. Like, who would I support if like QPR didn't exist? I think it would be West Ham. Because they're just about the right side of like they could go and win an FA Cup some point in my lifetime, but aren't good. Clearly aren't good, and you're not there for the glory of that. Do you know what I mean?
If I remove all the rivalry, the club that's most closely aligned, that has a comparable fan base is Spurs and West Ham, I would say. So I've always, as much as we hate each other, and there's like it's proper aggy outside the ground when Spurs and West Ham play each other, I have more of a connection with them than I do any other football club in terms of how they follow and their type of fan base. It's almost identical to Spurs. So it'd probably be West Ham or Palace, someone like that.
Brian O'Meara, I can't figure out if this is a joke or not. You went similar. I picked City because they're the most money in FIFA 10 career mode. Not romantic, but it is what it is. So are you actually a Man City fan?
It is what it is.
This is my biggest fear with Koa. This is my biggest fear, is that FIFA, like obviously FIFA and things like that, you want to play as the best teams, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
So then they just sweep them all up.
You'll rule with an iron fist, James. It's not his decision. It never will be his decision, and it shouldn't be his decision. He's lucky enough to have a dad who's passionate about a football club that he could share that with, right?
It's all right. It'll be fine. I've been reading up on brainwashing.
Yeah, it should be. And there's not like, I don't understand. Some families say, oh, well, let them support who they want to support. No way. Bad parenting. Bad parents. Bad parents. Yeah. They follow the club you tell them to follow, and that's it. You don't choose your football club if you're lucky enough to be in a situation where there's such an influence over your life that they guide you in the way of the club that is that they're passionate about. That's the ideal situation. Yeah, you can't just wake up, play FIFA, and choose City. You're missing out on so much.
I think ages 4 to 9 are crucial for me. I've been thinking about this a lot. And Luke, by the way, you're spelling Koa's name wrong. Shame on you. You should know better. But yeah, I think ages 4 to 8, I've got a real opportunity there before he can really make a smart decision to get him to really like QPR, and hopefully we can get it over the line, guys.
Do you know what it is, Jim? Sorry, just one more thing. It's not about the football. It's about what got me is I wanted to be like my dad and be like my dad's mates and be in the pub with them and then go football. It was the importance of the community around the club which drew me into Spurs. It fucking certainly wasn't the football or how good we were. And I think that's important.
Yeah. And I guess it's kind of bringing that all along with it. I'm trying to think, why do
celebrating
I've never thought about why I support QPR. Why do I support QPR again?
Yeah, but you're celebrating a moment with. Imagine if you just followed Chelsea, you didn't go with your dad. Imagine it wouldn't mean nearly as much.
Yeah, but people have different. I'm wary of going, well, like my way is better than someone else's way. Do you know what I mean? I guess you just have your road and your connection with it. Do you know what I
mean? I'm just saying, if like I said, if you're in a situation where you can be brought into a club rather than having to pick one, it's preferable, I would say.
Okay. A couple of unwritten rules. Keep those unwritten rules coming. Very good. Unwritten rules from Nathan Stapleton. It's a good name. When a player on your team is fouled, you must let out a long ref. If the free kick is not given, you must follow up with a shorter ref to show your disgust. I remember first year I was 16 playing men's football, and I played with a centre back. His name is Cookie, and I learned it kind of off him. I remember him going, he would just go, it was quite a safe thing to shout. You just go, ref, and they just keep screaming it louder and like, ref, ref. Yeah, I do that myself. Good unwritten rule that. Periola. Unwritten rule. When taking a corner, this is good. The player has to do 2 of the following things. 1, place the ball marginally outside the quarter circle that denotes where the ball is placed. As if that gives any advantage whatsoever. So I had this moment this week It was a horrible moment, actually. Because obviously, like, fitness isn't great. And we're getting to the last 5 minutes of the game at Spurs ground. And we get a corner. And I'm thinking, I sort of go over to take it. And I was like, oh, this is like, you've seen it a million times. I'm about to take a corner at Tottenham Stadium. This is cool. And so I put the ball down. And when I put the ball down, and then we had linesmen for the game, which is cool. I thought about that. I was like, where do I put it on the line? And I put it sort of like half on the line, half off the line, just because of all that nonsense.
You get a little bit more space, though, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's maybe the thing. But it's one where it's like there's no need to put it like clearly, what feels like clearly over the line. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
What like the edges of the pitch, they go down.
Mm.
Did you find that was very steep where you had to run up to take that corner?
Not Man United Old Trafford steep, but yeah, it's something to think about. It was something to think about, and maybe that played a part because I took the corner and I had nothing in my legs. I just went. Pluh. I just like tried to sort of slice it, like chip it.
Yeah.
And I just went. Pluh. And it was really embarrassing.
Did it beat the first man?
Mate, it just went straight out. It was horrific. I just had nothing. I had no power in my legs because we'd sat down for a month and a half. Anyway, and then the second thing with the corners is you put both arms in the air just before the corner is taken. Nobody really knows why players do this, considering that everybody's watching the corner taker anyway, but has no cognitive control over this action. Well, there's the general thought of like arms down is one thing, one arm is another thing, and two arms is another thing, isn't it? I always think when they do two arms, it's like front post, back post. That's what I used to do. It's like if I put two arms up, it's front post. If I put one arm up, it's back post. Basically.
My dad said the immortal phrase, the eternal phrase, rather.
God.
He said, "Come on, son, just beat the first man." Like, it's so fucking boring hearing that over and over again.
It is infuriating, though.
Son is a good corner taker as well. He's going, "So take him off corners." And every fucking game, I have to have this conversation with my dad about. Why do they keep playing it out from the back? Just hit it long. But Dad, it's not going to change. I know you don't like it. I know it's uncomfortable at times. It isn't going to change. This is the way we play. Can we not have this conversation every single time we watch?
Need you to get on board now. Come on.
Or just not talk about it. Just internalise it.
Sure. We finish off with Samisms and a cheeky power move. SWJ, a couple of cracking Samisms this week. Flav was on the kickoff for the Spurs-Liverpool game. He said, match of the day isn't the Constitution it used to be.
Do you know, as it fell out of my mouth, I knew it wasn't right, but I couldn't remember what it was. Institution is what I should have said.
Combining isn't the institution it used to be with a completely random reference to American independence.
And even Rory went, Constitution. I was like, I don't know what it is, though. I don't know what it is. Please let it go.
Yeah. I'm bad for picking it up on people. So sometimes I try and leave it.
I didn't realise how common it was.
Samism is everywhere, isn't it? It is absolutely everywhere. And during one of his boxing videos, True Geordie made the brilliant comment that Tommy Fury had left Jake Paul up the creek without a ladder.
The thing is,
pulling out their fight.
You're talking all the time, being recorded all the time. It happens.
I find I shouldn't even say that. No, I'm not going to say it. Because are you aware of things that you do in terms of like speech patterns and stuff,
habits, and of course, yeah.
I'm not even going to reveal it because once I've told people, then they'll stop watching the channel.
Is it something that you do or something I do?
I do. There's a couple of things. There's a few things I do.
I find ways of using the same word over and over again. I don't mean to. It just falls out. Like, what's the one? Insipid. I say that a lot.
Oh, mate, you've cooled down on that massively. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that in a very long time. We finish off with a power move that I really did enjoy. Ruadri, I think that's your name. A child used a classic power move on me this week. So I am a trainee secondary school maths teacher in Middlesbrough, and it is not going well. I have so much respect for teachers. What a gig. It's a tough gig. Yeah. I was teaching averages to year 7s, and the whole lesson was a disaster.
Bless him.
Some students were throwing things, some students were running around, shouting, and absolutely nobody was learning anything. A quiet student at the front said to me, "Sir, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah." Oh, yeah, no, I was like, "Yeah?" Question mark. And then she said, "You just look like you're about to cry." I almost burst into tears on the spot. Oh, Andrew, hang in there. Shaping young minds with your patience, and we're proud of your service. Well done.
I really I don't envy it, especially like in my school. I have no idea why any of the teachers turned up. That's just fucking unruly mayhem all the time. And they're doing it. They get into teaching. Like teaching is a teach. I'm so confused, right? Because sorry, this is so Ollie Sage is watching this right now.
Watching this.
Yeah, but he said we had a meeting for 12:45, and he's just sent me a message. Said, "Do you want to push the meeting back?" He's joking, look, because he's watching me. And of course we do. I've got to push the meeting back. We're recording the pod.
We're wrapping up now.
Yeah, no. But I think he's probably joking.
Okay.
But it's the noble thing, because everyone gets into teaching purely because they want to educate people. Do you know what I mean? Help them. And often students make their lives an absolute fucking misery. Bless him.
Yeah. I think I remember coaching people who are primary school age. And even year 6 is kind of the year where it starts to turn and they start to get this new kind of attitude. But you just about can sort of hold on to them. But once they go into secondary school, the people that have the desire to teach in secondary school are heroes.
Yeah.
Absolute heroes. And,
sure.
And if you're one watching this right now, thank you. Thank you for your service. And Mr. Pettit, who still messages me sometimes and little things.
What your teacher does?
What a hero! He was my hero, Mr. Pettit.
What? Go on. What? Tell me what did he teach you?
He's my PE teacher. He was fantastic.
And
smart
and he
man.
still messages now.
Every so often, yeah. He kind of like say, you know, like when the boy was born and different things. And yeah, he was like, there were certain teachers where you do look at them and you go, oh, I want to be like you. And he was that for me massively.
So he's keep an eye on your career, is he?
Sort of, yeah. I guess sporadically. Yeah, sporadically. He's a good man, very good man.
Oh, bless.
Good family man. Anyway,
good family man.
I watched. Actually, finally, if anyone wants to watch the documentary Knuckles on Netflix, it's about travellers and the sort of fighting that they did over 10 or so years.
True.
You find yourself wanting to talk like them. Hey, come from me. I'm a fighting man. It'd be a fair fight. It'd be a fair fight.
I don't know, Jim. I'm not sure if that's
how they talk. All right.
Yeah, I know, but Jamaicans also have an accent. You wouldn't do that, would you? Go on, give it a go.
That's my Welsh, actually. My Welsh is Jamaican, so I could do Welsh. Anyway.
But it's up the high street. You wouldn't let anybody.
I've got to go. I want to see my boy.
Adios.
And that needs to be sorted immediately. Right, guys. Thank you so much for continuing to watch. As I said, last week's the last podcast before the summer break. We will be doing Patreon, so if you do want to carry on with us, then the mailbag is there for you. Lesson London Pint. Unbelievable stuff. Have a great weekend. Flav, best of luck. Best of luck to all football fans in all their endeavours. That's a tiny bit more for you, because I'm
talking about this. Is like sometimes it's better just not to be in the conversation, but it is what it is. Could be an incredible day, could be an horrendous day, but 96%. We've got to focus on.
Yeah,
right, then, take care, mate.
You can't mess that up. You'll be fine.
Surely.
I will. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do Sunday, actually. By the way, guys, if I'm going to do a stream or not, I don't know. But anyway, we'll talk. Speak soon. Bye.